The defence of voluntary intoxication is where the defendant has taken the drugs or alcohol of her or his own free will. Um, the law recognises that intoxication can come about through the use of alcohol, illegal drugs, prescription drugs, or from other substances such as glue. Now, in order to use the defence of voluntary intoxication, the defendant must be so intoxicated that they could not form the mens rea for the offence. It's never enough to be mildly intoxicated or a little bit tipsy. The defendant must potentially be in a situation where they might not even remember, they might have blacked out, they might have a vague memory. They are intoxicated to such an extent that potentially we say they are unable to have the intention to carry out the offence. When it comes to the types of drugs, the courts have categorise them into dangerous and non-dangerous drugs. So dangerous drugs are illegal drugs including LSD, amphetamines, ketamine, heroin, etc., as well as alcohol. And these are called dangerous drugs because it's commonly known that the drug may cause the defendant to do a dangerous thing or become aggressive or violent. The non-dangerous drugs are prescription drugs, including sleeping tablets, antidepressants, opioids, and insulin, etc. A lot of people know that if they take these drugs to a certain extent, then they can get very intoxicated. Voluntary intoxication can only be a defence to specific intent crimes. These are crimes that have intention only. So the interesting thing here is the more serious the crime, like a murder or a Section 18, the more chance the defendant has of using the defence of voluntary intoxication. Because when it comes to what are called basic intent offences, voluntary intoxication cannot be a defence to basic intent offences because these have the mens rea of recklessness. And the courts have decided that in these situations, the defendant took a risk by getting voluntarily intoxicated that he might or she might commit a crime. And so because these offences have recklessness as part of their mens rea, a person can be found guilty of them. These are sometimes called backup or fallback offences, in the sense that if a defendant is charged with a Section 18, they're often charged as well with a Section 20 if the prosecution thinks they're going to attempt to rely on voluntary intoxication. They may be able to use that defence to the Section 18, which is a specific intent offence, and say, I was so intoxicated I was unable to form the mens rea. But they wouldn't be able to use it for a Section 20, which has recklessness as part of its mens rea, and so could potentially be found guilty of the lesser or fallback offence of Section 20 GBH.